I don't know if you guys are like me or not, but I always like to know a little bit about the person I'm listening to because I know that their history, their experiences are going to color their biases moving into the advice that they're sharing. So in today's video, I thought it'd be fun to take a screenshot right here of some businesses that I was involved with in Florida. Now, this is all public record, so obviously you guys can go find it for yourself. There's nothing to hide here. But when I look at some of this, I realize just how much I've done over the last 25 to 30 years. So let's take a look. Starting at the top, you can see Anthony Maritato associated with Mario's Restaurant, Inc. Now, Mario's Restaurant was kind of an interesting situation. My mom came to this country from Colombia, South America. She was the first in her family to come here, to find a job, to finish high school. And she started investing in real estate as soon as she had enough money to afford it. And what was interesting is her dream, now this has gone back, I don't even know, 50, 60 years. Her dream was to own a Spanish nightclub. She was very successful in fashion and garment production. She owned a factory that produced sample garments that would hang on the rack in stores like Joann Fabrics and in the anywhere you would buy, like Michael's, anywhere you would buy a pattern. So pattern companies would hire her to produce sample garments that would sell the patterns. And so she built an amazing business all through my life. I was always involved in her business. I always watched as she grew. And so finally she had the opportunity to buy what was an Italian restaurant. She purchased it. I was part of that transaction. She turned it into a Spanish nightclub. And maybe in another video I can share that experience because that was just an incredible situation that I don't think I'll ever live through again. But that was Mario's Restaurant, and my little role in Mario's Restaurant was I was a bartender when we would have 600-700 people come into the nightclub on a Saturday night. So the next one you can see, Total Therapy Solutions LLC. That continues to be my physical therapy clinic. For context, we started in a single location. I actually wasn't a physical therapist when Total Therapy Solutions was created. The reason why we chose the name Total Therapy Solutions was because we were looking at moving into skilled nursing facilities. We had an opportunity to make a bid for a contract to take over rehab in a skilled nursing. We didn't win that contract, but we thought, well, if we bring in OT, SLP, we better call it something generic. So we went with Total Therapy Solutions. That is how the name was chosen. But we grew our private practices. At our largest, we had 5 clinics across 2 states. We had PTs and OTs on staff. We had our administrative team. We used to outsource billing before we brought it in-house. And that business continues to operate today. We closed 2 of our Florida locations. We sold the 3rd, and we still have 2 Ohio clinics in operation. So Total Therapy Services LLC. I honestly don't remember how or why we created that company. I think it was because we were trying to get into a provider or a third-party payer contract. And for whatever reason, we thought it would be more effective to have a separate company. So we created Total Therapy Services LLC, but honestly, I'm not totally sure. So, you know, it was like $150 to create an LLC in Florida. You could do it on a single application. Hence, I have all of these LLCs behind my name. Siesta Key Physical Therapy, Inc. So again, I think when we had 3 clinic locations, we wanted a way to be able to sell individual clinic locations. We started to create Siesta Key Physical Therapy, Inc., Osprey. Did I do one for Osprey? I guess we didn't. We did Lakewood Ranch Physical Therapy, Inc., because we had a clinic location in Lakewood Ranch. But I guess we never did Osprey Physical Therapy, Inc. So that accounts for Siesta Key Physical Therapy and Lakewood Ranch Physical Therapy, because our plan was to break up the 3 clinics into 3 separate companies and sell individual clinics and the associated company. I think what we were thinking was the Osprey location would just sell under Total Therapy. So digital printing services. That was an interesting one. I come from a fine arts and graphic design background. When I was in high school, I went to a magnet school, and it was a program dedicated to fine arts. I thought I was going to go to either the museum school in Boston or Carnegie Mellon for a fine arts degree. I decided not to because I decided I wanted to get into business. I was also heavily involved in martial arts toward the end of high school and after high school. So I deferred college. I applied to Penn State along with the other schools. I said, I don't want to do any of that right now. I actually want to dedicate my time to studying martial arts and running a business. And I'll talk to you about the business I chose to run instead of going to college when I graduated high school. But Digital Printing Services was a company that I created because I had gotten into the world of creating business cards and brochures and flyers and postcards for local businesses around the physical therapy clinic. We weren't busy when we first started our physical therapy clinic, so I had extra time. I created my own content, and so other business owners through Chamber of Commerce said, hey, we need business cards, and somehow they ended up coming to me. So it was a side business, never turned into much. I realized quickly graphic design was not a passion for me, and I realized even more quickly that when I know what the consumer needs, what the client needs, but the client thinks they need something different, that becomes a frustrating situation. And for $70, there's no chance that I'm going to win that argument. So I just closed that company down. But I continue to do graphic design. I continue to do all of our own like internal artwork, business cards, things like that. What else do we have? Siesta Key Physical Therapy, Digital Printing, Osprey Executive Suites. So that's an LLC. It's a real estate holding company. We purchased some commercial real estate with plans to move our clinic into the commercial real estate. Now, this is kind of an interesting story. So our commercial real estate was half a mile north of our existing clinic. We were leasing space in a small shopping plaza. We had opened that clinic directly across the street from an outpatient physical therapy clinic owned by the hospital. It was an outpatient clinic that I actually worked for before opening my own clinic. And so I intentionally chose to open a clinic directly across the street from the major competitor in this city. I'll share that story in a separate video if you guys want to hear it. It's a really interesting story. But then after about a decade of great success, by far that was our most profitable, most successful clinic, we decided we wanted to own the real estate. We couldn't buy the shopping plaza, so we bought some new construction exactly a half a mile north of the existing location. But once we did, we quickly realized that if we moved location,